I want people to not give Republicans a pass or make it seem like everything, there was this insurrection a few days ago and we forget about it and then everything is okay. That is the worst thing we could do. That sets us up for this to happen again. We have to hunt down every person that was in that insurrection, that was a part of that insurrection, and we must also make sure that the politicians who were a part of it pay the price. They're kicked out of the Senate, kicked out of the House. We have to, even if we are not successful in kicking them out of the Senate and the House, we have to give it a possibility that we're working towards doing that. And likewise, when it comes to those people that we have physical evidence that they violated the law to get into the Capitol, we must do so. And we must do so so that the next person who thinks about possibly an insurrection will think twice. They must pay, and they must pay dearly. They must be locked up and locked up for a very long time. We have people in the ghettos and the barrios. They steal a cigarette or something and they're locked up. These people try to overthrow the government. They must be locked up. They must be locked up. But anyhow, there are a few Congress people that are making sure to keep the heat on. I want you to see this interview with one of the managers, the House managers that are going to try Trump, so that you can see how we need to handle the media with respect to the insurrection.
How are you and your colleagues preparing for that Senate trial? What do you think the trial will look like? Will there be witnesses? Is there evidence that or gathered that has not yet emerged to the public in terms of what we've been reporting on following this mob attack?
Well, first, of course, this is more than a mob attack. This was an attempted coup of our government because this occurred on no other date but one of the most sacred for our democracy, that being January 6th with the certification of the Electoral College. I think what you'll find very interesting is that the impeachment managers, we're all working incredibly hard, really working as a team, looking at every angle. We have an amazing group of staff, attorneys, outside counsel that we are working with. And what's unique about this impeachment, I think from any other, is that all of us have been witness to the crime. The conspiracy of Donald Trump to commit this crime over a protracted period of time, the actual crime itself, in real time, Americans were able to see what was happening. And the jurors of this trial are actually the victims as well. That, I think, is absolutely unique to this impeachment. And so you will hear about that at the trial.
Can you give us a preview of what your arguments will focus on? What is the core of the argument that you are making that takes it beyond just the public statements that we've heard from the president to, as you mentioned, and as the word you used, conspiracy?
Well, I think that I use the word conspiracy because the articles of impeachment lay that out, right? Trump has engaged in a prolonged effort to overturn the results of a presidential election and to maintain his grip on power. He did that at the expense of the American people, at the expense of our democracy. He spent months spreading disinformation about the results, utilizing that disinformation to antagonize and to drop that in the minds of individuals who were already listening to him, following what he said. He knew who they were. It was foreseeable to him what would happen if he brought them all to Washington on January 6th, ginned them up, lit the match, and then set the fuse on fire for what was in fact an insurrection, an attempted assassination of the vice president, of the Speaker of the House, of other members. An absolute travesty of our democracy took place, and Donald Trump was the instigator of that.
And Donald Trump was the instigator of that. My brother, Lee Grant, for the last 2 days, you've been telling me that this wasn't an insurrection. Let me define it from Webster. An insurrection, an act or instance of revolting against civil authority or an established government. They broke into the Capitol to stop the certification of the election. That's an insurrection. They did so violently. 5 people died. That's an insurrection. It's not my definition. It's Webster's definition. So please, sir, please, it was an insurrection. It was a treasonous, seditious insurrection. That's what it really, really was. I know it's hard to look. You are conservative, Lee Grant. You're a good conservative. Eric is a good conservative. Unfortunately, too many of the people on the right now, they are undemocratic, they are fascist, and they are insurrectionists. It's not me saying that. It's their actions that are saying that. We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number 1, subscribe to our channel. And number 2, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.